I started my career as a market maker on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Then I went to build Thinkorswim, and then I built Tasty. And now I am building my latest company, which is called Lossdog. Some people have called us serial entrepreneurs, but the reality is I just build things that I have fun with and love what I do. I have only received 2 paychecks in my entire life. One was when TD Ameritrade bought Thinkorswim, and the other was when IG Group bought Tastytrade.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Market Movers podcast. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by Tom Sosnoff, trading legend, serial founder, and one of the key figures behind the retail options boom. He co-founded Thinkorswim, which he sold to TD Ameritrade for over $600 million, then built Tastytrade, which was required for a reported billion. I was deep into the Forex space myself about 10 years ago, actually. So this one is a personal full circle moment for me. I've always loved how Tom builds, media first, brand led, and fully human. Welcome to the show, the godfather of options trading, Tom Sosnoff.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nice intro.
Is that still a nickname that gets banded around? The godfather of options trading?
I don't know. I'm okay. That's better than some of the other ones.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty cool to be the godfather or anything. So I'd take that. Tom, if you could do a brief introduction to my audience about who you are, the businesses you've built, and what you're working on now.
Okay. I am a kind of a lifer in the world of derivatives. I started my career as a market maker on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange, the CBOE. Then I went to build Thinkorswim, and then I built Tasty. And now I am building my latest company, which is called Lossdog. And, I've had a pretty interesting career building prop firms and trading platforms and, brokerage firms. And I've built a few exchanges. Some people have called us, serial entrepreneurs and that kind of stuff. But the reality is I just build things that I have fun with and love what I do. And that's it. Just enjoying myself. I'm kind of a trading junkie.
Is it true that you've only ever received one paycheck, and was that from your golf caddying days?
No, I have. No, that's definitely not from my golf caddying days. I have only received 2 paychecks in my entire life. One was when TD Ameritrade bought Thinkorswim, and the other was when IG Group bought Tastytrade. And those were just because I was under contract. That's the only time I've ever received a paycheck, and I'm not even sure I've ever even cashed any of them. So who knows? No, I've always worked for myself, and I'm back working for myself again, and that's what I enjoy the most is just doing my own thing.
They paid you as a golf caddy, though, didn't they?
As a golf caddy, they really
tip you.
Basically, there's a minimum they have to pay you.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of how old I am, when I started caddying, 18 holes, they paid us in US dollars, $7.25.
Okay.
So we're out there for like 4.5, 5 hours, and probably for about $1.50 an hour. That's to give you an idea.
Do you still play golf? Did you pick anything up? Did you learn anything?
I used to be really good when I was younger because I wasted a good part of my life playing golf. But as I got older and realized, I was better at other things than golf, I still play, but I'm a hacker now. I'm a crappy hacker.
Okay. Okay, Tom. Look, it's one thing to build a company that sells for hundreds of millions, but when it happens again, does that change the way that you see yourself as a builder or how you trust your own instincts?
It was funny because when we built Thinkorswim, we sold it for $750 million, and it seemed like if you had told me 10 years before we built it that that's what we're going to do, I would have been like, wow, this is incredible. But when we sold it, it was almost like, okay, like we didn't even I never even thought about it. Like it just seemed normal at the time. And we built Tasty and we sold that for, I think our total was 1.1 billion. And the same thing, like it didn't even register. Like it didn't phase me. Like the fun part is building something. Like the money part, I know it's gonna sound weird, but the money part, I didn't give a crap. Like, I didn't care. I wasn't that I wanted to both companies I loved, and the only reason I was okay with selling them is because I felt like it was time to do something else. In between that, I built a couple of exchanges. We sold 2 exchanges for a quarter of $1 billion and then another exchange for 100 million. So I've had a couple of other exits in there that we've done some incredible stuff with. But every time it's just like, I just want to build something new. I don't really care about the money. The money just, those are what the things are worth.
When you started with Tasty, did you have this like inherent, like, I need to replicate whatever the magic sauce was in Thinkorswim? Like, was that
No,
not
no.
any, no, you were
No,
just
not
building.
at all. Not you never think you can't if you try to do something, like, you're never gonna fricking get it. Like, it doesn't life doesn't work that way. Business doesn't work that way. You have to essentially build stuff that that makes sense to you while you're doing it. Like, you're kind of when we started Tasty, the whole reason for building Tasty was after we sold Thinkorswim, I felt like, okay, we built some really cool technology, but the thing that's missing from finance was fun content.
Mm.
Like Bloomberg used to piss me off. CNBC used to piss me off. I'm like watching these things. I'm like, God, this shit sucks. Like who watches this crap?
Hmm.
And so I wanted to build financial media that was different. And the funny thing about Tasty was it was the first streaming digital streaming financial network. Like it wasn't streaming finance didn't even exist then. And when we built Tasty, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah. So you were almost just like building what you wanted, and to see if and people connected with it,
Right.
resonated. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like you never build what somebody else wants because then it's going to be a failure. You have to just build what you want and hope you're right.
Yeah, but I guess you a lot of people could have taken that path and been completely wrong. So the stars aligned for you, but also more than once. So there must be something there.
Something I don't know. I still don't know what it is. But there's something there.
Okay, let's move into the topic of brand then, because with the onset of AI, we're a digital PR agency. I genuinely believe we are in the era of brand now. I think personal brand is extremely important. Business brand, it's so important, and it's going to be how you survive into the the next 10 years, let's say. Let's start with names, because when you named your companies, they're offbeat, they're non-obvious for branding. Thinkorswim, all one word, all lowercase. We got Tastytrade, Tasty Live, Lossdog. What was the thought behind that? I guess I know your answer. It's just going to be something that you thought was fun and you wanted to do, but I'll let you answer it.
I think you just nailed it. I think, when we built Thinkorswim, we were trading on the floor, and I was walking around my house one night and I'm like, and I decided I wanted to do something a little different, because I'd been in the pits for almost 20 years. And I'm like, I love this name Thinkorswim. So I went to my partner, Scott. I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, well, it's weird, like nobody will know what the hell we're building. And when we built it, I remember the first article that somebody wrote about us in Cranes was like, here's a Chicago company that's going to fail because they have the dumbest name ever for a brokerage firm. And I remember reading that and telling Scott, I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be successful because this Cranes writer thinks we're going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, just the idea that somebody hated it that much that they could write about it made me think, oh my God, this is going to be successful.
Yeah.
So Thinkorswim, crazy thing about Thinkorswim is that as silly as that name is, TD Ameritrade tried to get rid of it and they found out it was too popular. And then Schwab bought TD Ameritrade, tried to get rid of it and found it was more popular than the TD Ameritrade name. So it still lives today as Schwab's primary platform.
That's crazy.
And Tasty, it's the same thing. It just became a very, it turned out the one thing I was good at was branding stuff, and I never even knew that was a thing.
Do you think that ties together though with sort of the ethos of those businesses, which is quite rebellious and against traditional finance? And
yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so and it resonates then, I guess, more so with
I
the
mean,
audience.
I think that all that all creators, all innovators are kind of disruptors in that sense. It's rare. I, I don't know. It's more of my personality. Have a funky, stupid name or a weird name. Have some fun branding around it, but build a really serious, kick-ass piece of technology. So, like, as silly as the Thinkorswim name was, or as silly as the Tastytrade name is, the technology behind it is killer. In both cases, it's the best technology in the world at the time.
Well, yeah, and that's great. Actually, we had a guest on recently. They own quite a large legal marketing firm, and the guy named it after his dog. He owns pugs, so we called it Mean Pug. Great name. And he said, I said, you get any pushback? You're in the world of legal. It's quite serious. He said, half the client, half the people will say, we don't understand the name. He said, but the other half will say it's great. He said, but everybody remembers it. And I think that's
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is important, and I ultimately people will judge you. I mean, think about how crazy some names are, like, just even when you go back in your head and think about it, like names like Google,
Mm.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but there's so many examples of that. Um, it's really about how memorable is it, and how good is your product behind
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can have the greatest name in the world or the worst name in the world, but if your product's killer, then that's what matters.
Yeah, that's the magic formula. Like, have a kick-ass product and have a memorable name.
It's
Don't
okay
have
to
a
have some fun too with,
yeah.
with your name and your branding and your marketing, especially if that's not your business. Like, it's not our business at all. Like, we're just a bunch of traders and finance geeks. So, this was kind of fun for us.
Was it important for you from day one that the platforms that you built, that they felt human and not Wall Street? Was that
God, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, look at me. I'm the
Yeah.
I'm the least Wall Street person on Wall Street. I think for the last, 40 years, there could be nobody that looks like they are more homeless and less deserving to be on Wall Street than me.
Yeah. Okay, so I think your audience lends itself well to community. Like this, like rebellious. I remember when I was looking into forex like 10 years ago. Like I imagine so many people do. I was drawn into the world of financial options trading, forex, and futures. I came across your name. I came across you on YouTube. I came across Thinkorswim. Obviously, it didn't pan out for me, but you were definitely like part of that world when I was delving into it. But you can see that that whole audience is ripe for media. So when did you realize that the media side would be the growth engine of your businesses?
So the fun thing about coming from the professional side of the finance world and not the retail side was that I didn't know when we built Thinkorswim, I didn't know anything about the retail business. Like, I only knew the professional side, the market making, the exchange side. So when we got on the retail side, I I didn't know how everybody else always acted, how everybody else did everything. So I just did things the way that made sense to me. And what that meant was, I answered every email personally. I did all my shows live on air or live in public. I've been on the road for 25 straight years in front of audiences all over the world. And I built my business up that way. And people would see me and they'd be like, well, he doesn't look like he's not wearing a suit. He's not, his hair is not, something's wrong here. Like, why is this guy here? But I knew my shit, and
Mm.
I knew I know the world of options and derivatives as well, if not better than anybody else in the world. And so you can say whatever you want about me, but there's no way you're going to question my know-how, because, I mean, there's people, you know, there's nobody that trades more than me, and there's nobody that knows more than I'm, that's my know-how is my strength. And my ability to articulate that, and to communicate with people that also, I'll make it easier. One of my strengths is to take really a complex business and complex strategies and complex topics and make them easy to understand and applicable to anybody. And I don't think anybody before me thought that that was a route that would work.
Okay. Do you still trade?
Oh my God, yeah. I trade nonstop all day long.
Really?
Right. Yeah, I trade last year, 2025, which is my 44th year in the business. I think I made 17,000 trades last year.
Jeez. And do you trade on Tasty, the
Yeah,
platform? So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I still trade on Tasty. I mean, I have accounts at Thinkorswim and Tasty and,
yeah.
all the platforms that I built, but I mostly trade on Tasty right now.
So do you just love it? You just live and breathe trading?
Well, it keeps me engaged in
Mm,
finance. So if you and I were to have a talk about, whatever, I mean, you know, I feel like in the world of financial media, I probably trade more than anybody. So I
mm.
feel like I can talk about any topic.
Okay. When you mentioned about how you don't look Wall Street, you're an extremely nice, likable guy. I'm just interested, when you were in the process of that first acquisition, was there ever a sort of kickback or pushback from these suits when you started the negotiations? Was there like a moment where they thought, "Oh shit, this guy does know what he's talking about," or was it all just plain sailing?
It's pretty simple in the world of private equity, in the world of buyouts and everything else. I, you know, the I might look a certain way, I might talk a certain way, I might be different than everybody else, but the reality is we built companies that did nothing but make a lot of money.
Hmm.
Like we've built companies that have made, almost billions of dollars in revenue with, 50 plus percent profit margins. Somebody who's acquiring you does not care,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're wearing. I have a fun story. I'll tell you a fun story.
Okay.
My first TD Ameritrade acquired us, um, and they paid, like I said, $750 million for us, and it was a good deal for them, and it was a good deal for us at the time. And our first board meeting, because this is during the financial crisis, like 2009. So first board meeting we had, because I had to go to the board meetings for TD Ameritrade, when they made the acquisition, it was in Chicago. It was a fancy hotel, and they had a bunch of billionaires on the board, the TD Ameritrade board. And we go to the first board meeting, and I come in jeans and a t-shirt. Everybody else is in suits. And I walked in, and I remember Joe Ricketts, who was the founder of TD Ameritrade originally. He's a multi-billionaire, an incredible businessman. Joe Ricketts looks at me and he goes, "Why the fuck is Sosnoff wearing a t-shirt?" He has the suit on. I'm like, "I didn't know I had to wear a suit." He's like, "Well, if he doesn't have to wear a suit, I'm not wearing a goddamn suit." And so he takes off his suit, his tie, and he's like, "All right, this is a new thing now. If he doesn't have to wear a suit, I don't have to wear a goddamn suit."
Oh, that's brilliant.
And that's how it started. Listen, I mean, we're the reality of the business world and private equity firms and other businesses, um, they're looking for, firms like that can't innovate, they can't create, they can't build certain stuff. And if you want that stuff, you're going to have to make deals with people that innovate, that are
Mm,
creative, and that's what you're buying.
yeah. Makes
And
sense.
I think that makes sense. I
Yeah.
I I don't think they care about anything except, hey, how good is this company?
Hmm. Okay, that's perfect. Tom, you mentioned briefly earlier that you love to explain like complex topics. So at what point did you realize that like beautiful blend of education and entertainment living side by side was something that was going to resonate or did resonate?
Really early on in the Thinkorswim days, so almost 25 years ago, in the early days of Thinkorswim, we were trying to figure out how to build our business. So I went on the road at, like, money shows and traders expos and our own events. And what I found was, um, I was the biggest draw at all these events. Like, they had all these famous people, whatever, TV personalities and stuff, but yet I drew the most people of anybody. And every event I did was packed. And 500 cities later,
Hmm.
25 years and 500 cities later, I mean, it was pretty obvious to me up front that people were sick of the bullshit. They didn't want somebody to tell them what, some macro story or some like, this is what we think the market's going to do. They actually wanted somebody that would explain strategies and explain how to use the technology, and also somebody that did it themselves. So I feel like that's where we came in and changed the whole industry, was to take a very practical hands-on approach and also to talk about things that, we did not dumb down very complex things, but we made it applicable to everybody. We made them applicable to everybody.
Yeah, this is a bit off topic, or not off topic, sidetracked. I imagine you peruse YouTube. Do you feel like we're living in dangerous times now with like trading influencers? Because I mean, I'll see videos like make $100 a day with this simple strategy and stuff like.
Yeah.
Do you
I
feel
mean,
like it's
there's a lot of there's a lot of people in just because of where we are, with social media, and there's a lot of people out there that I don't really know if they're scammers or if they're just, trying to make a name for themselves or whatever, but you have to weed through a lot of crap
Mm,
nowadays, which is unfortunate. I think you have to be very careful in that regard, and if it sounds too good to be true, obviously it probably is. Um, but, that said, I would rather have all that stuff out there than not, because, investor education and investor content is used to be crazy expensive, and now it's virtually free. So I think that that's a good thing if you can weed through some of the stuff. Um, so a lot of people have taken the stuff that we've done over the last 25 years and monetized it. In some cases, I've seen my own stuff out there have hundreds of thousands of views with somebody else presenting exactly what I wrote, like
yeah, yeah,
word for word. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird, but I don't care.
yeah.
It's a compliment, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I suppose as well. The reason you have such longevity and the reason that you've built such an audience and such trust is because proof is in the pudding. Like you said, 17,000 trades in a year. You've traded every day for 40 years. You've been consistent and you've put out education for such a long time. And that is building true
And
and
I've never charged a penny to anybody for anything other.
yeah,
The only money we've ever made is if you use our software and then you pay, whatever transaction fees or whatever, but we've never charged for one thing. Like I've never done a live show and charged for it. I've never sold a single thing. Like everything I've ever done is free.
mm, uh,
And I, so I think people respect that because I'm
yeah,
not out there. I'm not a snake oil salesman. I'm not selling anything. I'm basically, my model is real simple. And I think we were the first ones with this model. I believe in a goodwill model. I'll tell you everything I know, and all I ask in return is use our technology.
yeah, yeah, and that's great. You're not gatekeeping anything. Um, you just give everything away, but you're only trying to reach those people that resonate with you and your message, and then use the tool. And that's a great model, I think.
Most people are like, I've learned over the years, most people are really good. Like most people are really honest. Most people are really fair. Most people want, like, if you give them something, they want to pay you back. Like if they think that you're trustworthy and you're honest and you give them something, and what you give them is like legit, then they want to use your technology. There are a few people that will take, but for the most part, most people are good. That's why, like, it really bothers me when people think like the whole world's a bunch of scammers and stuff, because it's not.
Mm,
Most people are really good.
yeah.
There's just a few bad apples. That's just a normal percentage of, outliers.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, I built my entire business online. I didn't meet my business partner face to face until after 18 months. Yeah, there are bad apples out there, but yeah, the more you sort of interact with the human population, it's the minority. I definitely agree with
The whole world is good.
that. Yeah.
Everybody's good. But there's always gonna be a percentage of a tiny little percentage. It's just like the outlier group. It's the part you can't measure. It's like the 3 and 4 standard deviations,
Yeah.
like, okay, big deal. You don't dwell on it. Let's just move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you've always built with owned distribution at the core. So why does that matter more than ever, do you think, in the world of chasing algorithms, Google updates, social media? Like, why do you think that's so important?
Why do I think what is so important?
Owning your own distribution, not relying on things like Google.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, you know what? Probably it's also hurt me. Uh, Not hurt me, but it's also probably put some some limits on our business because we have always wanted to control our own ecosystem.
Hmm.
And you're right about that. Like that's, on the one hand, we've wanted to control the entire environment. That's like when on on Tasty, when we built Tasty, the network, we didn't even have guests because I wanted the message to be my message. Like it's always going to be my story and my message. I don't care what somebody else thinks about something. I don't care what somebody else if they have a different approach to things because I don't want to confuse people. I want everything to be consistent. I want that message to be on point all the time. And to a certain extent, that is probably limited our a little bit of our growth and held us back some, but it's kept our universe really tight and really consistent.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let's move on then to your latest project. Another great name. Maybe you could start by explaining the how the name came about, Lossdog, and then tell us what it's about. I know it's not officially released yet. There's a waiting list, but I think a lot of people are excited.
So Lost Dog's about to be released. It's we have a network again. It's called One Lucky Dog, and it broadcasts every day for an hour. And it's kind of a call-in show with finance and business and everything. And it's just we haven't even promoted it yet. It's just started to take off in our new studios. We built this beautiful set in Chicago, and it's kind of fun. So we're doing a show called One Lucky Dog every day, and then we're about to launch our Lost Dog software, which is a platform I've been building for the last year or so. It is a platform designed to help people know what they're worth, to give you context around value. One of the things that has bothered me throughout the years is wealth inequality in the sense that I think CEOs and executives are grossly overpaid at most corporations, and the average employee is underpaid. And the average employee is underpaid to the tune of millions of dollars over their lifetime. And the reason for that is because they don't know what they're really worth and they have no grounds to negotiate. They just don't have a baseline to work from. Because of that, I wanted to build technology, and AI gave us the opportunity to use so many more data points and upload so much more information that we can now essentially within a very tight market give you a reasonable idea of what you're worth. And we think what that's going to do for people is give you incredible context about, hey, you know what? I'm making $72,000 a year, but I think I'm worth $77,000 a year, and that extra $5,000 a year that I'm leaving on the table may be the equivalent of $2.5 million over my lifetime, which is life-changing to me, when I'm done working and things like that. So I'm trying to focus on worker fairness, health inequality, health inequity, um, and do it in the world of like quantitative finance. So, like, what we did is we essentially built our own model, like almost our own version of a Black-Scholes model, and backed into this crazy valuation model. So we can give you essentially a two-sided market on what you're worth, which I think is really cool to individuals. Now, what we're going to do with that is we're going to build a digital ecosystem around that so that hopefully, I can create a digital environment that allow people to invest in things and to understand how digital currencies work. And I want to build this whole, again, I'm going off on my own
Mm,
digital ecosystem, but I feel like it was time to do something just a little bit different.
hmm.
And who knows long term, what kind of relationships I built with this. But we're a Chicago-based company. We're small. We're 20 people. When I built Thinkorswim, we got to, just under, I don't know, 500 people. When I just sold Tastytrade, we got to 350 people. So I'm used to building big companies, but I like to start small. It's my favorite thing in life. Work, sit in a room with 20 people and build really cool stuff. And that's what we're doing now. We're a very slick AI platform, and we're about to roll it out to individuals, pure consumer. It's going to be free. I mean, I'm not even going to charge for it. We're going to be rolling it out the whole first year. Everything is going to be all free. And I think people are going to eat it up. Now, is it global yet? No, like it doesn't have UK, you know,
Oh, so I can't sign
Right?
up.
No, 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 but it will. You should, 'cause
Okay.
you get a picture of kind of, you'll get a picture. Now,
Okay.
certain things are hard, like for the stuff you do, it's a little bit harder to figure out, like there's not as many comps, there's not as much government data, but, um, for the most part, it's gonna cover pretty much about 85% of most of the jobs that are out there, so it's gonna get a really good distribution of data points and information. I just think, you know what, I've reached a point in my life where I want to help as many people as we can, and I think this is going to give a lot of people a lot of context and help.
Okay. That's awesome. First of all, you didn't explain the name. Lost Dog.
Okay, so I'll tell you the name.
Okay.
I was doing a show. I was doing a financial show. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was down in the green room. The green room's like where you wait before you
Mhm.
go on stage. And they had this giant poster in there and it said "Lost Cat," and it was just this mangy. It was this mangy stray cat that had that hadn't been washed. It was missing. It was lost. It was dirty. It had this. It was really funny. The artist that did it was beautiful. I wanted that poster so bad, and they wouldn't sell it to me. So for years, I hunted down that poster of that lost cat, and I finally got it. And I said, if I ever start another company, I'm calling it Lost Dog.
Okay.
Like a mangy, a little bit of a mangy dog, and that's kind of the origins, the genesis of that.
That's great. I'm glad you found the poster. Brilliant.
Yeah, I have it hanging up right now. We have a coffee shop, right here in our building. I live in the neighborhood, so I built a little coffee shop, so a place to hang out. I have it hanging in the coffee shop.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, Tom, I want to just get a little bit technical now,
Okay,
because
sure.
we're in the era of AI. I'm assuming the Lost Dog idea was pre-AI. I could be wrong there, or at least it's something you've been thinking about building up to it.
It's something we've been thinking about for a while. I wouldn't say pre-AI, but I would say on the it all happened around the same time.
Okay, but certainly the advancements that we've made over the
Yeah, yeah.
previous months have made the business idea and model possible. So I'm interested, what specifically technologies um, have made this something that can become a reality?
Well, for starters, all the competition among different AI platforms has lowered the cost to where we can upload millions and millions of resumes, where we can upload hundreds of millions of data points and train government statistics and data points to train the AI engines to basically give us information and to give us to figure out financial models that I don't think would have been possible, computationally possible, just because of the limited amount of information and the speed of processing it all. And what's happened now with AI is just the technology and the low cost of using that technology has made what we're trying to build practical.
Okay. And are you sort of leveraging API calls from specific AI models? Are you like using Gemini, Claude, or is this more of is this more to your development team?
No, we're using a bunch of different models. We've built like a kind of what you would call a matching engine that
Okay.
allows us to, optimize. So I mean, we'll use, everything from DeepSeek to Gemini.
Okay.
And there's probably 4 or 5 different models being, I think 4 models are embedded inside the system, and a lot of it's done, based on cost optimization and training and things like that. But yeah, we're not tied to one specific, one specific vendor. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's really interesting to know. You mentioned that Lost Dog is going to be free. Is there a longer term monetization plan or not?
There is. There
Okay.
is. We plan to build a digital ecosystem. We plan to have some marketing deals in place with, financial service firms because we think our demographic is going to be very highly sought after. Sometimes one of the things that success has brought us is a little bit more flexibility, functionality, and cushion. Like if you're doing something for the first time, man, you're always up against it, right? You're wondering. you're wondering, can we afford to do this? That kind of thing. When you've had a couple of successful exits and you have a little bit of a history, and you're a little older and things like that, you can you have a little more cushion. And so we're lucky that because of success we've had in the past, um, we're financially strong enough to be able to try some things out.
Okay.
And so we're not going to commit to a specific model at this point because we don't know how good our software is yet. Like it's not out there. And we think it's going to be game changing, but we don't know. And you know what? A lot of times, like when we built Thinkorswim, I didn't know at first, how this software is going to be, is this software going to be accepted? Is it going to be adapted by the masses? I didn't know we built Tasty. Are people going to be open to, another platform from us? Like you just don't know. With Lossdog, I'm not sure. I mean, I love playing with it. It's super cool. But I don't know how everybody else is going to react. I want to see.
Is it a sort of two-sided marketplace that you're trying to build, in the sense that a person is going to find their true net worth and then be empowered with data and knowledge to be able to
Yeah.
go to their employee and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So
But we're not interested in like helping you find a job. Like we're not interested in competing in that space. Like we're not a recruiting firm. We're not going to
Mhm.
help you find a job somewhere else. We just want to empower you, engage you and empower you so that when you go, you figure out what you want to do. And when you figure it out, you now have, like the best example I can give is when people would come to us and we would have a new job posting. Our HR team would say, how much should we offer? Like
Mm.
nobody knows.
Mm.
And they'd be like, how much do you want to pay this kid? Or how much do you want to pay this person? And like, everyone's like, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
For the first time, we are going to give people, companies, whoever it is, an idea of what you're worth, what the job's worth, a real marketplace so that everything is fair. What I do know is some executive making $25 million a year is way overpaid compared to the employee at that firm that's making $82,000 a year. That I know.
And how does the software, how does the tool like identify those inequality gaps? How are you making an assertion as to why this is too much, and is it trying to average out across a vast number of data points? Like where's the
It's part of it, but it's not really like the only reason we care what like a CEO makes is just to give an example of
Mhm.
how overpaid they are. Because my feeling is there's no such thing as any company where the CEO is worth 500 times more than the average employee. And so I know there's money available. It's not that we think we're not in the business of just pissing off a bunch of CEOs. We just want to let companies know that, hey, you know what? If you take the extra $8 million the CEO is being overpaid, there's enough money there to make everybody else fairly paid.
Right, gotcha. So is there also an ability to see, let's take for an example a mid-sized paper merchant office manager job, okay? There's one in Chicago and there's one in Florida. One guy's on 50K a year, the other guy's on 60K a year. Are they going to then be able to plug their information into the system? And then how is it then determining which is the more fair pay? And then what can that person realistically do that is being underpaid? Like, will they be empowered with actual data to go to their employee and say, hey, look, I think I deserve X amount more? Like,
Well, there's two things. One, what we've done is, yes, by location matters. So like, for example, if the same job is in New York, Chicago, and let's say Omaha, Nebraska, just as an example, New York is going to be higher value than Chicago, and Chicago is going to be higher value than Omaha, Nebraska, just because that's just the way it is. So we
Mhm.
do use location as part of it. We also depends like where you went to school, how much experience you have, all that kind of stuff. But beyond that, once you get that number from us, the important part about that is then it becomes very personal. However you want to use it, that's up to you. If you think you have the leverage with your employer that you can go talk to them about this, then I think that that's a good thing. For other people, you may be like, listen, I know I can't talk to my employer because they're not going to care what this says, but I know that I can start looking now because I'm worth more. So all we're trying to do is I just want to empower, like to me, quantitative analysis and real numbers and real statistics is way more valuable than one of your friends saying, hey, you know what? You're underpaid.
Hmm.
Like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Hmm.
What means something to me is you give me some real statistics that say, hey, you know what? Here's the average in this city for that specific job, and you're getting $10,000 less than that.
Hmm. And I think what resonated with me is putting that difference of what you could be earning additionally per year over the course of a working lifetime.
Yeah, we show you that number too. Like
Yeah.
we show you right up front how much money you're leaving on the table over your lifetime.
Yeah. And that's going to make some people sick to the stomach, I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but you know what? That's a good thing. That's
Yeah.
what, that's kind of, that's kind of something that we're hoping, fires people up.
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned right at the beginning of our talks when I asked you if there was any conscious decision to try and replicate the success of Thinkorswim when you started Tasty. You said you just do what you want to do, but there must be some part of you that is going to be doing like building a community around Lossdog. There's got to be
Sure,
some of the
sure.
success factors that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's why we have a network. That's why we use the same, a lot of the same, we take a very much the same approach with respect to, kindness, articulation, responsive, all the things that made us successful. We continue that here.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Tom, as we approach the end then, I've just got a few more questions, particularly in respect to AI. Is there anything that you are really excited about outside of your own businesses and investments when it comes to AI, where the technology is now, how fast and far it's come, and where it could be going in the near future?
Well, I mean, I'm like most people, I think like most people in finance, I'll leave it there. Um, I'm extremely bullish on the future of AI and how it fits in with the kind of, as an entrepreneur and as an innovator, AI clearly is helpful. It allows us to build faster. It allows us to learn faster. It allows us to distribute faster. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do more efficiently with scale using AI than we could before. Um, I understand there's some, I get there's some apprehension and some nervousness and danger with, respect to AI and just in general. I get it. But so far I think for us, it's actually helped us to add jobs. It's actually helped us to build stuff faster, to come to market faster. So I mean, overall, you know, I don't think AI stocks are cheap by any stretch. I think they're overpriced. But I think AI, the generation of AI and the transformational changes that AI is making to creativity and innovation is pretty positive at this point.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, anybody that's listening to this show, maybe some of our younger audience that is watch this and says, I want to be like Tom Sosnoff. I want to have an exit for like 700 million and then another one for 1 billion. Where would you suggest they start getting their feet wet in the world of business and entrepreneurship?
Well, I mean, remember, I didn't build Thinkorswim until I was in my 40s. I didn't build Tasty till I was in my 50s. So I spent 20 years learning the bones of the business and learning everything. So don't rush into anything. I mean, the one thing I'll say to people is, take as much risk as you can when you're young. Learn as much as you can. Don't ever think about like some ridiculous exit or any of that kind of stuff. Just learn as much as you can, take as much risk as you can, and at some point in your life, you will have lots of opportunity to apply those risk-taking skills and to, make some kind of move on your own to turn that into something. It doesn't have to be by the time you're 25.
Yeah, that's a nice thought. I'm still not 40, so maybe I could still build something
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's good.
Again,
Tom, do you believe that trading is a viable career option for like retail trading, but to do it as a career? Like, and you teach that. Is that still something that people can do? Is that still something you believe in?
yeah, 100% believe in it. I mean, now you have to make sure that you have enough capital.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think you can I don't think it's viable with, everybody should trade even if you have no money because what you learn from financial markets, whether it's in respect to decision making, brain processing speed, all of that type of stuff that makes you into a better everything, business person, entrepreneur, all that stuff comes from trading. But if you're going to make trading it for a living, you need at least a little bit of capital.
And are you a proponent of prop firms in that regard?
Not so much in the sense that you're talking about.
Right.
Like I grew up in the prop
Yeah.
business,
It
but
meant something different back then, didn't
it meant something
it?
very different. We were exchange members, we were floor traders, pit traders, very different. The prop firms today, um, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, if that's the only route you have, sure, but I'm not a huge fan.
Okay. And do you like solely believe in options as the best path, or do you think
No,
like
no,
you
no.
can trade anything?
I am product indifferent. I'm an agnostic with respect to product. In the old days, I would have said I'm an option trader. Today, I'm just a trader. I still trade about 70% options and about 25% futures and stocks and all that kind of stuff for futures options. But I'm mostly a derivatives trader, so options, futures, and futures options. But I also trade stocks. I trade digital assets. I trade event-based contracts. I trade everything.
You trade everything. And are you just sorry, I'm just a little bit off. I told you at the start I was obsessed with Forex like 10 years ago. So it's just, are you like a short-term day trader? Do you do,
I do both. I scalp intraday,
okay,
um, and I also, I position trade too. I do
okay,
both. I've been scalping for 40 some odd years. I'm never going to change.
okay. And for somebody that like is watching this and they want to get into trading, what would you recommend that they do?
Just start, but just do it small. Like don't think you're gonna if you make money or lose money, don't even worry about it. Just start really small and just start learning about how the technology works, how markets work, the benefits of this to your brain and to your psyche and to everything else you're going to do. It's far outweighs any of the risks. Just keep your positions really small when you're first starting out. Even if you win, don't think you know anything because you don't. Just keep your positions really small and you're going to be surprised.
You know, and do you have advice for the best place for education then, or do you say just start,
Yeah,
don't
I
learn?
mean, there's so much stuff online right now. Whatever you do, don't pay for anything.
Hmm.
But like at Tasty, we had, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of hours of archives that are all free. But there's so much stuff on. Like I probably have 100,000 hours of archives out on YouTube all over the place that all free, covering everything. Like there's just so much stuff out there. Yeah, you got to weed through it. You got to figure it all out. Like it's a lot. It takes a lot of time. But you'll also just jump on a platform, start playing around, and you'd be surprised how quickly it'll come to you.
Okay. Huh, that's really, really interesting. Tom, as we approach the very end, then, you've been on this incredible journey. Lost Dog is your baby right now, but is there anything that you've got in your backpack that you've always wanted to do, you are going to do at some point? Something that you don't think the world is ready for? Like, I'm interested. What's next, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
I hope I live long enough for, and I think that would be a great topic for our next interview or next podcast because I don't want to give it all. Like I don't want to give all the stuff that we have in our back pocket, but like you reach a certain point. My wife always says to me, she goes, "Are you ever going to give this up?" I'm like, "No, of course not." She's like, I know,
Yeah.
like I knew you weren't, but like, I'm never going to stop. There's so much crazy stuff, but right now my entire focus is on Lost Dog. And, but, who knows a year from now, how that focus changes.
Yeah.
I think you'll have to do another podcast and we'll see where we are.
Well, we'll have you on in 12 months' time then and see the lay of the land. That sounds great.
Sure.
Tom, for anybody that wants to sign up for the waitlist for Lost Dog or connect with you, give us some links, tell us some places where they can go.
So you can go to lostdog.com and just sign up. There's a wait list there. We'll email you as soon as we're ready to roll out the software, which is really soon. We're going to be giving away $1 million in crypto. So you want to sign up. We're also have a prediction contest going out next week where we're giving away 5 grand. I mean, we have all these giveaways, fun, just to kind of seed our base. Or you can email me directly just at tom@lossdog.
Lovely. Okay, Tom, it's been absolutely brilliant. You said you're going to come on in 12 months' time. I'm going to hold you to that. This has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being such an amazing guest.
Thanks, guys.